American history. And reporters at legacy outlets, some of which are sitting in this room today, like the New York Times and the Washington Post, were ridiculously awarded Pulitzer Prizes for their perpetuation of this hoax. It's well past time for those awards to be stripped from the journalists who receive them. It is not journalism to propagate political disinformation in service of the Democrat Party and those in the intelligence community who hand over out of context and fake intelligence to push a false political narrative. I will now pass it over to the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, to speak more about all of this, and then we will open it up for questions afterwards. Tulsi, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. At President Trump's direction and with the support and coordination of the House Intelligence Committee Chairman Rick Crawford, today we've released a declassified Oversight Majority Staff report that was produced in September of 2020. The stunning revelations that we are releasing today should be of concern to every American. This is not about Democrats or Republicans. This has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic and American voters having faith that the votes cast will count. There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't. The report that we released today shows in great detail how they carried this out. They manufactured findings from shoddy sources. They suppressed evidence and credible intelligence that disproved their false claims. They disobeyed traditional tradecraft intelligence.
Okay, so hope I don't sound too much like Trump with this, but I told you so. I've been telling you so, that Obama was the Antichrist for 16, maybe, yeah, it's 2008. So here we have it, the man of lawlessness. For those of you who don't know their Bible, that the Antichrist is also the man of lawlessness. So you can stop putting it on all these other people that you love to put it on when, you know, you just have a fancy to do so. This is monumental, and you know, praise God, we just pray that there will actually be arrests and that he will H-A-N-G at last, as my dream predicted. So, but this is one of my rapture dreams, and just yesterday when I saw it, I thought, because you have kept my word of patient endurance, I too will keep you from the hour of trial, which is coming on the whole world, to try those who live on the earth. I am coming soon. And even though this sounds fantastic, and, you know, to just pray that it all comes to pass, as we saw from Zelensky yesterday with his meeting. So that today is, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It's the 1st of January. And we've had pretty lousy weather here, so I don't have to be fighting with my roses. And I will just spare this time to introduce you to somebody I found who is absolutely fantastic. And here we go. This is
British imperial policy. The Russian...
Oh, no, not that one. I've just found this Prometheus, this site called Prometheus, and here it is, this one here.
Israel, or can we just do America? They're all wrong. What you just witnessed wasn't a sellout, it was a takeover. It was the first live-fire test of the very strategy the British are trying to kill. Trump hasn't surrendered. He signed the Do Not Resuscitate order for the British post-war world.
Okay, so here we have Zelensky looking, and he's sitting at the table with Trump, as if he's doing a deal, but one look at his face shows you exactly the contempt that he has.
Strike. It was a sabotage operation designed to blow up the Trump-Putin peace channel. But Trump and Putin refused to take the bait. They aren't pawns anymore. Here's Trump's response.
President Putin told me about it. Early in the morning, he said he was attacked. That's no good. It's no good. Don't forget, the tomahawks. I stopped the tomahawks. I didn't want that. Because we're talking about, it's a delicate period of time. This is not the right time. It's one thing to be offensive, because they're offensive. It's another thing to attack his house. It's not the right time to do any of that, and can't do it. And I learned about it from President Putin today. I was very angry about it.
And Putin's spokesman Ushakov reported that in that conversation with Trump, Vladimir Putin emphasized that the Russian side intends to continue close and productive work with its U.S. partners in searching for ways to achieve peace.
Okay. But as I showed you in a video, or 3 videos actually, a year ago, exposing Candace Owens, which I'll show you in a minute, just after I find this picture of...
After the president met with Zelensky and Netanyahu, the political world has exploded. Now, if you listen to Mike Pompeo and the neocons, Trump sold out to Putin. If you listen to the anti-war crowd, he sold out to Zelensky.
Have you ever seen such a smug... And look at him, it's like they're sitting opposite the most powerful man in the world, and they put on a face like that, and look at that bloody clown. Excuse me, my swearing, but what does that face say? Leave it in the comments. What does that say to you? It's like, yeah, boy, I've got one up my sleeve. So this woman is fantastic, and as are her team, from what I see.
If you follow the MAGA wars or Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're being told he surrendered to Israel, or can we just do America? They're all wrong. What you just witnessed wasn't a sellout, it was a takeover. It was the first live-fire test of the very strategy the British are trying to kill. Trump hasn't surrendered. He signed the Do Not Resuscitate order for the British post-war world. And that's why they're not celebrating in London or Brussels tonight. They realize the special relationship, their ability to manipulate American power for their wars, is over, as long as Donald Trump is calling the shots. I'm Susan Kokinda. I became politically active way back in 1968, campaigning for Robert F. Kennedy Sr. in California when he was assassinated. For decades, my colleagues at Promethean Action and I have been in the real fight. So take it from a political veteran. If enough of you understand what Trump is doing, we're going to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our independence in 2026 by finishing the job.
Amen.
So if that sounds like your kind of fight, hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons so we can expand our reach.
Okay, so do look her up. I'll just see what else she's got to say right down here. I don't know what it is, but...
Hence in the Koch interests. So while too many in the MAGA base are caught up in the fabricated faction fights and secondary issues, or frankly are acting like 5-year-olds demanding headline-grabbing indictments right now, Donald Trump is dismantling a strategic architecture that has been in place since 1945, an architecture that's used the United States as the dumb giant in the British Empire's globalist schemes. And the British know it. But even bigger than Trump's strategic revolution is the economic revolution. Because that's what this is really all about. Go back to the end of World War II and the summit in Casablanca, where Franklin Roosevelt said to Winston Churchill, "Winston, we didn't fight that war to reestablish British 18th century methods." And Churchill countered and said, "What do you mean by that?" And FDR said, "A system that takes more out of a country than it puts back in." Well, Roosevelt died before the war ended, and the result was the ultimate triumph of British 18th century methods, or a system which takes more out than it puts in. Look at what has happened to the United States. We used to have a middle and working class based on a robust manufacturing sector and a tradition of family
Okay, I'll leave it at that. Now, FDR is one who has been mentioned in this Bible in the prophecy of Idris, which I have shown you, by which I have shown you that Trump is the Messiah ben David spoken of, which unfortunately the cabal and the false scribes have taken all the prophecies that relate not to Jesus, but they've all made them about Jesus. There's some, those that related to his first coming as a man, and Yeshua, Messiah being Joseph, the suffering servant, but the second one, which many Jews actually know, by the way, true scholars, that there were two different messiahs. And I actually got a comment, would you believe it, from the other day, and by someone called Lolo or someone, and I didn't know, so I started replying, and I replied with the reply that I had put on the comment. So she was, so she's on my Facebook. I'll just go and have a look. Here it is here, and see if you can see it. But to start with, I didn't know what, she was talking to. And it turned out, of all things, I don't know how many of you know Leonard Cohen, but of course he was my hero before I found the Lord. And so she starts, do you know Harry Belafonte had an open conversation with Noam Chomsky a few days after Trump's victory, and Belafonte died at 96, 1.5 years after Trump elected secondary. Now Chomsky is 96 and still alive but powerless. This picture, plus only your comment, made me wonder where the world is going and its rise and fall. Humans, life and death. Thank you, Christine. Very happy New Year to you. So, and then she talks about having worked with Leonard Cohen, or worked with or for. So, and then this is what I'm showing you now, This is what I'm showing you now, and on tape there it shows in the House of Lords in England where they are actually saying, ignore the president. And so I'm just going to now take you to the comment that I showed her. I wrote to her, and this is reciting from this Bible that I'm talking to you about. This Bible talking about, and it actually mentions FDR, and I've done several videos of it, quite a few actually, but one of them is entitled FDR's 12-year reign, something like that, proves Donald Trump is Messiah ben David. So that is what it essentially says, because in this prophecy of the kings, of the eagle kings, it speaks of one man who is the president, and he has the longest reign of all. And of course that was FDR. He had 3 terms, but of course now Trump's going to beat that. But so, and then it talks about this lion who comes and taxes these other kings, the evil wings of the eagle. So I think we all know who they are. So I'll just put the thingy here so you can read it at the same time. Now you can find this online. So this is the prophecy. This is what this woman was, commenting on, and of all things on this Leonard Cohen sign. So just, and this is what I wrote. A king, unwelcome to the inhabitants of the world, succeeds to the throne. 2 Esdras 5:6. As for the lion you see, roused from sleep and roaring, which you hear addressing the eagle, taxing it with its wicked words and deeds, this is the Messiah, whom the Most High has kept back till the end. He will address those wicked rulers, taxing them openly with their sins, their crimes, and their defiance. He will bring them alive to judgment. Then I saw all who had gathered to wage war on the man who had come up from the sea. I saw that the man hewed out a vast mountain for himself and flew up onto it. Then I saw all who had gathered to wage war on the man filled with fear, and yet they dared to attack him. When he saw the hordes advancing to attack, he did not so much as lift up a finger against them. He had no spear in his hand, no weapon at all. Only as I watched, he poured what seemed to be a stream of fire out of his mouth, a breath of flame from his lips, a storm of sparks from his tongue. All of them joined together in one mass, the stream of fire, the breath of flame, and the great storm. It fell on the advancing host, on the host advancing to join battle, and burnt up every man of them. Suddenly that enormous multitude disappeared, leaving nothing but dust, ashes, and smoke. Okay, so that is where we are at. And that is why this painting of mine really struck me yesterday when I saw it, because there is a part in here when it says, he will keep. Okay, so there's one, this part here is, it's so hard to find the numbers in this Bible. This is 9, right? And yeah, so second address 9. The angel answered, keep a careful count of yourself. When you see some of the signs predicted have already happened, then you will understand that the time has come when the Most High will judge the world he has created, when the world becomes the scene of earthquakes, insurrections, plots among the nations, unstable government, and panic among the rulers. Then you will recognize these as the events which the Most High has foretold since first the world began. Just as everything that is done on earth has its beginning and end clearly marked, so it is with the times which the Most High has determined. Their beginning is marked by portents and miracles. So I've shown you those portents and miracles by my celestial signs in the heavens, all relating to the time when Trump was elected. Starting my first stream starting in like 2015, but then the first signs in 16. Although I could go back, and in actual fact, the very first time signs I had was in 2010, and that was of a convoy, and that a convoy of UFOs. So anyway, here it is here. So just as everything that is done on earth has its beginning and end clearly marked, so it is with the times which the Most High has determined. Their beginning is marked by portents and miracles, their end by manifestations of power. That's where we are now, expecting Trump to have to do something powerful. Whoever comes safely through and escapes destruction, thanks to the good deeds or the faith he has shown, will survive all the dangers I have foretold and witness the salvation that I shall bring to my land, the country I have marked out from all eternity as my own. Then those who have misused my law will be taken by surprise. Their contempt for it will bring them continual torment. All who in their lifetime failed to acknowledge me in spite of all the good things I had given them, all who disdained my law while freedom was still theirs, who scornfully dismissed the thought of penitence while the way was still open, all these will have to learn truth through torments after death. Okay, so all this, and I've shown in other videos how the prophecies on this all complement and back up those in Revelation. So of course both those prophecies, the first one of the king who just uses the words of his mouth. Twitter anybody and look at Trump. He's just been so patient. And I'll maybe just go to this Prometheus again, because the next one she's doing is actually speaking. It's actually speaking about what has happened since Zelensky absolutely contemptuously sat there and then went straight to number 10 Downing Street, and those attacks on Putin were carried out despite everything. He sits and pretends at the table. So okay, I'll just go back to
defense spending to 5% of GDP, and secured a ceasefire between India and Pakistan, as well as brokering a historic agreement between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The president has already received 3 different Nobel Peace Prize nominations for his peacemaking efforts. Again, all of this progress, all of these accomplishments have occurred in just 6 months. We are truly just getting...
Okay. Yeah, can anyone know the prophecy that he is the Prince of Peace, as opposed to Jesus, who said, I did not come to bring peace, but war. Okay, so this is how you know that who Trump is, that he is the peace president. And now I'll just go to this Prometheum. Okay, so it's Promethean. Bother. Okay, I'll just try this. I have no idea what this one is.
There we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Promethean Action's live question and answer show. We do this show every Thursday. My name is Adam Sturman. I am a producer here with Promethean Action, and I'm joined with the lovely Susan Kokinda and Barbara Boyd from Promethean Action and Promethean PAC. All right, today's show is entitled JP Morgan's $1.5 trillion versus Trump's national security strategy. I think you guys have seen the article, probably have seen the news about...
Okay, I did not want that one, but you know how it goes with me. So anyway, so those who, like this woman, just don't know what's happening in the earth. If you have had faith, if you have, so here we have Candace Owens as well. So these I did like a year ago, and you'd have to be under some kind of rock not to understand what is going on.
Well, the great falling away is getting pretty desperate. I want to talk to you about Candace Owens' new husband and how he is a honeypot, and this is all part of the plan, just as they're using Jordan Peterson to try and get Protestants back into the Roman Catholic Church.
So that's where it all starts and finishes with me. And you won't remember, but I've done the earliest videos that I've done showing the whole Britain part. There was one video I did where William and Kate were at a children's school, and the children, there were signs in the background, and they had the tripod, tripod in the background, which is the sign of Neptune, which is the sign of Prometheus of this time. And this is where we are at, this revelation. And so it all depends on where you, if you're going to spend your time getting trapped. What she said was excellent about what's happening on the mainstream, like Alex and the others who are just playing up this Charlie Kirk situation, and and it's all a huge drama, and not focusing on what is really happening behind the scenes, and putting your faith, not being torn from every wind, so every time somebody says something and against Trump, if you go along with it, that is not showing faith, that is not showing good deeds, and that is not lifting up humanity and lifting up the vibration. Because as she said in there, if enough people get behind, because the powers that be in the heavenlies, they don't intervene, unless we ask them to, that everything is very sort of democratic, and if you ask for help, if you show faith, it will be shown to you and the way will be shown to you. But it may, it may still be a case of being kept safe during this terrible time of tribulation, as Trump tries his darndest, to bring peace, to bring love, to stop the killing, but these evil ones, and as she's shown, that starts in England, and as I shown in my videos, Candace Owens' husband, they're talking about the House of Lords. Well, her husband, his father is a lord, but he is a shill, a shill for that great power, that great power that they are all, the whole religious power, which is all the reason why, your pilgrims came to America, because it was so oppressive that they wanted to worship in their own way. Well, that's where we are again, and that's why America is so important. And if we fall, that's it. It's over, it's tyranny. So that's why it's so important to pray for Trump and understand, what I'm saying when I tell you that he is Messiah ben David. He is the conquering king. So he conquered King Charles, he conquered the Queen. He is the one in charge. And I could not imagine a better site to show you than this Prometheus site. So please go there, like, share and subscribe, and leave a comment with me as well. That would be really nice. So hello to my several new subscribers. It's a nice treat. Bless you all in Jesus' name, and hope you're having a wonderful new year. Bye-bye.